Hi, my name is Aabid and I am from Toronto, Canada. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever had a nickname. I have two syllables in my name. It's just too easy to just.
Hi, my name is Raessa and I am in Johannesburg, South Africa. My friends call me Ray or Ray Ray, and my mom loves calling me Sherlock Holmes because she thinks I'm like some kind of investigator and I'm just always alert and I know everything that's going on.
Hi, my name is Aleena and I'm in Karachi, Pakistan. Either Leena or like Leans or Aleeners, like with, just adding some fun into it.
Hi, my name is Fahim and I am in Pune, India. So my friends, my family members do sometimes call me Shah Rukh Khan because I'm a full filmy guy and I'm addicted to Bollywood movies and I do his mimicry as well. I can enact like Shah Rukh Khan. So
Who here is an extrovert? Who here is an introvert? Who here loves animals? Who here loves reading? Who here loves to sing? Who here can dance? Who here would say they are artistic? Who would say they are more analytical? Who here is looking for friends? Who here could be better about saving money? Who here could be better about eating better? Who here felt different than those around them growing up? Who here felt like they had to grow up fast? Who here is a risk taker? Who here went through a phase where they didn't like their own name? Who here went through a phase where they didn't like their own skin color? Who here sings in the shower? And who here makes a great cup of chai? If you could be sipping this chai with anyone from your own past, who would it be?
That would be my grandma. She passed away. She passed away about 5, 6 years ago, and we were very close. She was also artistic. She painted, she sketched. We had a lot in common. So that would be the one person I would love to have a cup of tea with.
I would say 12-year-old me. I feel like that was a time in my life where someone like me right now would have been able to help me back then. Just, life will find its way out. Just relax and you're going to be fine.
I would say my grandfather, my dada. When I was young, he passed away, and I feel like I didn't get to hear enough stories from him about his life and connect with him on a level that I have been able to with my other grandparents. And so I wish I could do that.
So it would be my brother. Yeah, he's doing good. He's in Canada, but he's not physically present with me. So I would love to have a cup of chai, definitely with him, and discuss my whole childhood with him, relive all the memories.
What are the challenges sometimes of being pluralistic?
Yeah, I would say, there are different religious beliefs in India, and sometimes there are clashes between other religious sects. Yeah. But somehow and somewhere we do get united during festivals and during cultural shows. We get united when we when we cheer India in the World Cup, and we don't see who is supporting whom. And I mean, like, We get united in during IPL and other sports events as well. You can see the unity between different religious sects in India. And to say it's a bit challenging, but yeah, things turn out to be good compared to other political aspects.
I think maybe judgment or ignorance or um, I want to say being oblivious on other people's parts to um, Islam, to being African. So I would say just ignorance would be my biggest challenge. Trying to explain yourself and having people judge you for being different.
Yeah, quite similar actually. In in Toronto, the Muslim population is quite big, but the Ismaili population, although we have a lot of Ismailis here, other Muslims don't know about us or don't know as much about us, right? So really explaining them where we fall within the bigger Muslim ummah can be challenging. There are certain stereotypes that come along with certain buzzwords when they are described in these conversations. So, kind of getting past that within these conversations can get difficult at times. Well, one being Shia, second being Ismaili, right? Times may seem like we are way too liberal to be Shias, but then to other Muslims, like Sunni Muslims, it may be even further away from, finding some point of connection with other Shia Muslims.
Yeah, I think it's hard to fit into one box where usually people, fit into a nice box of like where they've grown up from. And because I am from Pakistan, but I grew up in the States, I'm a Smiley, there are a lot of factors who make me who I am. And especially being in Karachi, predominantly, yes, this country is Muslim, but there is a Shia Sunni divide here that we can't really ignore. And that does come into play sometimes, not in my personal experiences that have happened to me, but things that I see happening in the country. Um, but the positive side that I have seen living here is that when you say to somebody that you're Ismaili, they're like, "Oh yeah, we know who Ismailis are, and like you guys do an amazing job at building a community." And I've consistently heard that here, whereas in the States, I think there are a lot more questions. Like people do know who Ismailis are, but there's still that explaining how we follow different like beliefs and stuff. And here, people know, and they are actually like empowering of it and encouraging of it. So
When it comes to your dating, when it comes to dating or your love life, how does pluralism play into it?
um, yeah, I mean, for me, through learning about the faith and coming to a conclusion of what I want for my future, for me, it has to be an Ismaili Muslim. Um, yeah, like before it was more so has to be Muslim, but there's cultural influences, there's parents, his opinions. Um, However, my journey has been, yes, like that's been influence has been from there as well, but through my own experience and learning about my faith, I realized like this is what I would want for my future and my kids.
I personally don't have a problem or have any issues with, a partner that would be from a different religion or a different culture. I think my concern would be more my family or my parents. But I think it's about understanding and acceptance. If I had a partner who understood what it is to be an Ismaili, accepted our religion, accepted our beliefs, I would be pretty comfortable with that. I think the bigger question as well is kids. When kids come into the picture, what are they going to be? Are they going to be a Ismaili? So that would be a tricky conversation to have. But for the most part, I don't have a problem with being with somebody that isn't an Ismaili. And also here in South Africa, it's such a tiny community. There isn't much youth. There aren't a lot of people that are our age in Jamaat Khana and Ismaili. So we don't have a very large community. So most of the people we spend time with aren't Ismaili.
Yeah, I would prefer being with a Muslim, Ismaili or not, but I think that is something that I would prefer. I will say I agree the pressure comes from family, where I think in our culture we want our families want us to have a partner who is only Ismaili. Um, but I personally don't have a strong preference there.
Not necessary for me to for my partner to be an Ismaili. I mean, like I am open to any sect of any religion, and I would be really, you know, see openly embracing it. The thing is, like, yeah, our religion, our community is a bit challenging to explain as well.
Have you ever felt torn or conflicted between different parts of your identities?
I grew up in Dubai. Again, a fairly religious country by nature. I was surrounded by a lot of Muslims. 99% of them were Sunni Muslims. So I always had a struggle of, oh, do I identify as a Muslim or do I identify as an Ismaili? Somewhere in between, you know. Growing up, I didn't really realize the differences between sects. So I always communicated my religious background as Muslim if anyone had asked. However, you know, being in Toronto now, I'm more comfortable saying that, oh, I identify as an Ismaili Muslim, right? So the struggle was there before to kind of maneuver around that. Um, and even now, like, having lived in different countries, I sometimes struggle. Oh, okay, my background is Indian, but I grew up in Dubai. And I was born in the States, but now I'm in Canada. That's four countries. Like, which one do I pick? Right. So it's kind of like, it's almost like I have to share my life story to explain to people what is my background.
I think when I was younger, I wasn't as confused as I am now, to be honest, because naturally, as you're older, you have questions, and you kind of start to find yourself more in that realm. But I was smiling because the different identities question, it resonates with me so much because I'm a Pakistani, but I was born in the States where it's way more liberal. But now I've moved back to Karachi in my 30s, and I'm surrounded by very, very conservative values and ideals. But those are not values that I particularly hold in every realm of my life. And so, kind of finding a like balance between that, where what I believe isn't necessarily matching with what the people around me believe, has been like a difficult journey to sort of map out.
Um, so I was born in Nairobi, Kenya, and there's a huge Ismaili community there, and a lot of stuff that you do in your everyday life revolves around Kane, and you go to Kane with your friends, you go out with your friends. So most of the people that you're surrounded with are Ismaili. So you're very much grounded in your identity. And then we moved to South Africa when I was 10, which was really difficult to integrate into South African society and culture. Also, with apartheid being part of South Africa's history, everybody's kind of race is very apparent. So everybody is sort of put in a box. Either you're white or you're African or you're Indian. And so I think I struggled with what box I sort of would be put into. And then, as you get older, you learn more about being an Ismaili. You become more grounded in your identity, and it becomes easier to integrate with your friends, with society, and it actually becomes fun. I've been to bar mitzvahs, I've been to lots of different types of things, and it's nice. It's nice to see people from different cultures, as long as you know who you are and where you come from, which I think is really important, so you don't get swayed or confused. Also, we go back to Kenya quite often, so that's also really nice and refreshing to go back home and remember where you're from and who you are, and then come back into South African culture and be able to integrate happily. So I think it comes down to just knowing who you are, and maybe that's your faith or your parents, your family that will help you really stay grounded.
Yeah, being an Ismaili, living with having Muslim friends, non-Ismaili friends, that was a bit conflicting. There were some instances where I had a bit like we won't say a fight, but an argument, a heated argument with other Muslims as well, and like Muslim friends, who never like they couldn't understand what is the Shia Imami Ismaili Nizari Muslims, how they live, and how our Imam directs us. And they couldn't really accept the fact that we do believe in a living Imam and not the Prophet. They think that we don't believe in Prophet, we don't follow the Prophet or Imam Ali, other Imams as well. So following a living Imam, it's they don't really appreciate that fact.
How have you handled prejudice?
It was a bit difficult when I was younger. There's lots of white people in South Africa, but they're Afrikaans or they come from very sort of stern backgrounds. So coming in like primary school was quite difficult. I'd find myself trying to find people that looked like me because I would feel more comfortable in making friends with people that looked like me. And also my teachers are Afrikaans, and they were I would say they also had a bit of prejudice towards me growing up, and that's really hard when you're young and your teacher is treating you a certain way because of where you come from or what you look like. So growing up in prep school was quite hard. And then I think when it got to high school, it became easier because we're all teenagers now and we're all open-minded in our generation. And I think a lot of it is actually coming from our parents and our grandparents. And so at school, we have room to learn about each other and to integrate and to bond over things other than our culture or what we look like. And we become friends. And so I think it got easier over time. Definitely as I grew older, it got easier over time. And I mean, I don't have very many Ismaili friends here. Most of my friends are not Ismaili, and they're, friends for life.
I'm really trying to figure out who I am, because I think the biggest issue was, when people are ignorant and they create stereotypes about you, how do you really approach that? How do you stand up for yourself? And a lot of times during my life, I did not have an answer to that. Now, if I'm faced by it, like, I kind of embrace it. I'm like, okay, like, you think a certain way, and that's okay, but this is what I have to say to that, right? So it's first identifying who you are and what do you want to show about yourself to people, project to them. Once you know the answer to that, I feel like it gets easier to tackle those situations. So whenever I deal with those situations right now, I just give them an answer of, okay, I understand how you think about it this way, but listen, this is who I am, and I am proud to be this person, and I'm proud to identify as this, right? So just dealing with the situation head on and creating an opportunity to have a discussion about it really helps.
Yeah, it gets a little confusing because kind of have to explain both sides. Like you mentioned, like I'm in the States, and if there are questions about my faith, then I openly discuss that, and I would answer any questions, like have that open line of communication. And here it's the same thing because I grew up in the States, and so it's like, what was your experience like there? And then also having that open line of communication here. So I think in both scenarios, I think answering those questions, like Aabid was saying, knowing who you are and answering those questions and having that discussion so that people can understand better where you come from, anywhere in the world you are.
So it's been, I mean, like not much enough, but in my childhood, I was, judged on how I used to be physically. I wasn't, I mean, like strong enough. I mean, like I wasn't a bit healthy. So, I wasn't accepted as much when it used to comes to sports. I wasn't openly accepted, and I was judged so quickly that I would give up in any of the sports. So I didn't have the opportunity to grow in it. when it comes to being physically fit. But yeah, after when I graduated, I just made up my mind that I would just look after my fitness. If I don't like being judged, so I would just try to improve myself and try to change the perspective of how people look at me. And now, yeah, I train people. I'm a fitness trainer as well. So.
What is the best part for you of being pluralistic?
Yeah, conversations. I feel like it opens more topics to discuss about. You know, with my diverse background and experiences, I can talk about religion, sports, certain traditions and cultures that I can share with them on so many different levels. So me as a person, I love having conversations in general, and I feel like as a kid I was a bit more introverted, but through my experiences, I was able to kind of get out of that shell. And now that I have all of these topics to talk about, through my pluralistic background, I just love having conversations with people. I don't care where they're from. I don't um, care what their ethnic background is or whatever. I'll always find something in common, at least one topic to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's getting like a really solid view of the world, getting to know other cultures, getting to discuss other cultures, and meeting other people of multicultural identity, so you can even learn more and have those conversations about about whether it's politics, religious conversations, hobbies, like what people do around the world. I think that's really cool to be able to know all of that and share it with everyone too.
So the biggest advantage of this is it would be understanding different perspective from of different people. So be it like cultural things, cultural aspect. If we look at it through a cultural aspect, I'm an artist as well. I'm a martial artist. I went to a place where there are no Muslims, no Ismaili Muslim. So I went there. I learned a martial art which has Hindu origins, which has its origins from like dates back to Hinduism. The martial arts, the name of the martial art is Scullery Fight, and I learned a lot of things there. I mean, like I understood their perspective. I really enjoyed their discipline, the way everything was, their rules, their set of the way of life, the quality of life they lived. It dated back to their tradition.
I think learning as well, learning about other cultures, but also realizing that there's a whole big world out there and you're just a tiny little part of that big world, and getting the opportunity to meet different people from different backgrounds, eating their food, listening to their music, going to their homes. It's fun. I enjoy it, and so I think we're all human, and so it's really nice to relate on a human level, but just learn about people and see how diverse the world is. I loved connecting with other Ismailis within my age group and learning about their perspectives and their beliefs regarding pluralism and what we all go through on a daily basis.
I really enjoyed the experience. I got to connect with fellow Ismailis and discuss some amazing topics with them, and I truly appreciate the experience.
It was a lovely and a lively interaction. So I would like to thank the producers and the creators of Chais for giving us this opportunity to come together on a single platform and share our experiences.
Being on Chais was such a unique experience. It was so amazing connecting with people from all over the world, hearing their stories, and being able to relate to them in so many ways. It was an honor to be a part of it.